Look at Fishbane's there, too. This is
big.
Fishbane!
The Fishman.
People have been calling for Fishman all season. He comes through at Lambeau Field. He did Cats. Yeah, the Cats are winning by a lot right now.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're up by like 15 on Michigan
Tell them
State.
boiler up.
Cats are up by 15? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I don't know why we're scheduling Northwestern basketball games during Sunday Night Football in Week 18. I don't know why the FCS championship game's in the middle of NFL football on a Sunday.
Oh, my God, I was so mad.
What the hell's that all about? Why was it not yesterday?
Who won?
I assume South Dakota State.
My nephew's a Montana kid. So.
Northwestern hired their offensive coordinator.
Okay.
Right after the game was over. So there you go. Nick, can you help us? I mean, what the hell was that?
Nick, you better have some serious reports out of that locker room. I want to know what's going on in there.
We haven't had a chance to play DJ Moore. What did he say?
Okay, yeah, let's scroll, because honestly, from my vantage point, it was even tough for me to hear, but I went back and listened to it. He was asked, first of all, on the disappointment. You had all this momentum going into this game, then you have that performance, don't score a touchdown. He said, of course it sucks. It would have been great to knock out this team from getting into the playoffs, and that's the scenario that the Packers were in. Couldn't do that. He was asked about the challenges on offense, and he just credited the Green Bay Packers, said they had their number today, and he said we weren't really dialed in. That's interesting for a team that literally has – this is your last game. The only reason you're playing is to knock out this team. He felt like the offense wasn't really dialed in. He also said after he was asked about the fumble that Tyreek Stevenson caused, and he was just asked about his thoughts about if like that was a big momentum, a lack of – he was asked, like, could you have built on that play? And he thought we should have taken a shot on that very next play. Justin Fields, I think, scrambled for 3 yards on the play. Can't remember exactly what they dialed up, but DJ was like, we should have taken a shot on that play just to show the Packers that we're still in this thing. Obviously, that did not happen. He was also asked what needs to change on offense moving forward. Obviously, not scoring any touchdowns. And he really highlighted, was asked a couple of questions about this, you guys. He highlighted the explosive plays in the games. He wants to go back and look at the games that they won, look at those explosive plays, look at the ones that they lost, look at those or lack of explosive plays. So that's what he was asked about when needing to change something on offense. He was also asked, was his offense too conservative? And he said, no, that's not really the case, but he just wants to be able to surprise teams again, going back to those explosive plays. And then here's he was asked about a question about Luke Getsy, do you need a new offensive coordinator? And immediately as the question's coming out, he rolls his eyes. I think it was Mark Potash that asked him the question, rolls his eyes, and he called it fine, meaning the offensive coordinator. He also said he has the right players, and just really the players need to be explosive. Need to have those, again, going back to explosive plays. But he also said it doesn't really matter who's calling plays. Essentially, the guys just need to execute. So that's what he was kind of saying about Luke Getsy. He was also asked about the hit on Justin Fields. And DJ said he didn't even see it because I think he was on the opposite side of the field where it happened. But he said if he did, it would have been a way bigger issue. He would have gotten into things. He was too focused on what his assignment was, but he didn't actually see the play. And then he was asked if he had seen the replay. He had not seen that either. So that's kind of what DJ Moore had to say after the locker room, you guys.
All right, let's go over to the Flus. Did he seem like a remorseful Flus, a confident Flus? How would you describe his press conference?
He was I wouldn't say he was like I guess a down Flus, if we wanted to categorize it that way. I think he was disappointed, obviously, with the result. But he started off his press conference kind of crediting the players for the development of the football team and themselves, liked how the team finished 5-3, doubled up on wins, he said. He really liked the chemistry of the group, said that was really good. And he said it's two sides of the coin, disappointment, but also the brotherhood that, this team has established with, some more wins as of late. He was asked about his future, you guys, and he said he welcomes those meetings. And tomorrow, so here's what tomorrow is going to look like for the Chicago Bears. A lot of exit interviews with the players, sit in Eberflus's office with Ryan Poles, 10 minutes apiece for these interviews. Going to start at 7 a.m., go to 4 p.m., and give feedback literally on everything. So, but that's going to be the focus of tomorrow. And then later in the week, he, again, welcomes those interviews, those, obviously going to be tough discussions with upper management, but he does welcome them back, And he was asked, is there expectation for you to be back? And similar to what Eberflus said about the word expectation that goes into the future, he said he's going to stay right here in the present. Later in the week, again, look for ownership and everyone else to have those, again, those tough meetings. He was also asked if you feel good, though, about those meetings. Do you feel good about those meetings that are going to happen in the future? He says he does know that the foundation and standard of how we operate things as the Chicago Bears have been set. He knows the locker room and knows the locker room consists of people that are hardworking and passionate for the game. So I think Eberflus is looking forward to these tough conversations that are going to be had, but he didn't seem honestly too down, even though, this whole entire game was a big disappointment, especially his defense that really didn't show up much in this game.
Nick, after the Falcons game, obviously with the fans chanting, "We want Fields," the players came to the locker room, very defiant, standing up for their quarterback. I mean, these are some of the last times you guys are going to get to speak to the players in the locker room, obviously tomorrow as well. But how much sentiment from that, did that carry over, that kind of energy from his teammates to continue to support their belief that Justin Fields should be the quarterback next season?
Yeah, I would say it definitely has, Greg. And, I got a chance to talk to Tyler Scott and asked him, if Justin, should he still be the leader of this football team moving forward? He said essentially, absolutely. Just look at the plays that he made and look at how the team handled themselves as of late. So Tyler Scott definitely believes in that. And, Justin Fields' locker was kind of in a walkway for a bunch of people. So people had to pass by his locker to get out of the locker room. And literally every single player that walked by, whether they were maybe just hitting the showers or exiting, were all just dabbing them up, kind of talking little things and saying, hey, looking forward to next year and things like that. So there's still that belief in Justin Fields, especially from the player's perspective of what he's capable of doing. And so that love that he has, that appreciation for what he does on the football team, but also how he presents himself, I think that's definitely still there, Greg. So it was there even after a tough loss. And yeah, Justin Fields didn't put up the great numbers that you ideally probably would have liked to see in potentially his last game. But, I don't even think I need to go back and watch the All-22 to know that there were some limitations, especially with this offensive line. You have Colin Johnson, Velus Jones Jr., Trent Taylor in for an offensive play on 2nd and 2, and Luke Getsy calls some weird end around that ends up losing. It was just, this wasn't a very good offensive game plan. And yes, the quarterback, his stats don't look right, but I can just tell you right now, I don't know how much blame I'm putting on Fields for a game that looked the way it did.
I just don't understand why the offensive line was so bad. Even with the injuries, I get it. They didn't have the starting center, and then they lose Nate Davis. Okay, 2/5 of the offensive line go out. That seems like a pretty obvious answer, but all of a sudden Tevin Jenkins is bad. What did Dan Feeney have to say? I hate that. It's not fair to Dan Feeney to all of a sudden have to be the spokesperson when he didn't really play all year. But what did he have to say about everything?
Yeah, so I asked him about the adjustment, when Nate Davis goes out, Cody Whitehair comes in, and he said it is a little bit of an adjustment, especially for Cody Whitehair. And I think you tweeted out, Adam, about where Cody had been playing. He was playing right guard in this game, but there was a slight adjustment. But again, he's next to two guys that played a lot of football, and it just wasn't right. And Justin Fields also was asked about the lack of continuity, especially in the interior, and he said, of course, there's going to be a minor difference, but they always approach it the mentality next man up, so it shouldn't be anything too different. But you saw Tevin Jenkins losing one-on-ones. You saw guys not be able to pick up stunts and twists on the interior for whatever reason. So it was a bad day for some of the top offensive linemen on this team that have also their worst games. Yep. And that's what happened consistently.
Did Flus say anything about the reasoning for why Tevin Jenkins? Because just so people know, Cody Whitehair not played right guard since 2017. So earlier this year, when they were in this situation where both had to be on the field at the same time, Jenkins moved over to right guard, and he actually looked pretty awesome with Darnell Wright over there. Now, it's not like Cody lit the world on fire at left guard. He still ended up getting benched and losing his job. And I'm guessing the answer is as simple as, well, he's not the starter anymore. Cody Whitehair needs to be the swing guard, and this is just how this works. And that would be an acceptable answer to me. I'm just wondering if it came up.
Yeah, no, Adam, it didn't come up, but I will tell you this. Matt Eberflus was asked about the lack of pass rush for his defense. And he said that, obviously he just felt the pass rush for the Green Bay Packers and did not feel that pass rush from his guys. So I think that, again, somewhat answers the question of that, regardless of who the Packers had on the other side. They were consistently getting back to Justin Fields, and he just didn't have a lot of time. But look, those guys were veterans still in the interior, so it doesn't even – I know that you're being put into, this situation, but Dan Feeney had to do that during the Detroit game. Didn't have his best game, but like these guys, they should have that next man up mentality, but it obviously didn't come to fruition here against the Green Bay Packers.
And Carm's dying to know why Tyson Bagent was inactive. I mean, it ruined his entire night. You guys were talking to him on Friday. It makes no sense. Should Flus be fired over this?
Well, there may be other things if we're talking about firing people that would warrant that kind of reaction. But I don't know. Yeah, Tyson was in the locker room, looked all right. Didn't look like he was coughing or sneezing or anything. But, yeah, we have to wait until next season, unfortunately, Mark, to see Bagent Man take the field.
Well, we're all of us in Bajan land. We're just looking forward to OTAs and the way TB17 is going to come out and
bulked up.
Just be ready to go.
How much will you guys pay me if, let's say let's assume Flus is coming back. There's a press conference at some point this week. If I ask the first question at the press conference and it's why was Tyson Bagent inactive?
Yeah, well, what I'd say is that he was sick. Please do it. I'd love to. I'd absolutely love to see it. That'd be fantastic.
Nick, anything else?
Yeah, guys, real quickly on the hit that Justin Fields took, I asked Dan Feeney just about that hit and kind of what he thought about it. And he said it was a pretty dirty hit. You still got to protect guys in this league. And, again, thought it was a dirty shot. Like he mentioned, yes, Justin's running, but he's still starting to slide and just thinks it's a little BS. Again, he went all this season and had not gotten one roughing the passer penalty. And there was so many plays where it could have just easily been thrown a flag.
Every week there was one.
Every single week, guys, and he did not get one. And Justin was, asked about that too. And he basically said he just doesn't understand, he obviously has to come out after a play that he slid on and, doesn't want to get fined for saying anything, but that should speak for itself, essentially.
Right.
Like, I had to come out of the game, and yet I didn't get the flag.
Because I got hit in the head.
Exactly.
Which means it was a penalty. Yeah.
Should be.
Here's
Every other quarterback, yes.
I said earlier in the show, Nick, I vowed not to go on another ref rant. I'm not going to do that right now. But what I am going to do is I'm going to quibble with the rule. If they're going to argue, well, Justin slid late or Justin's a runner, okay, well, then you can't mark the ball at the start of the slide. If you're going to have a rule where the ball gets marked at the start of the slide, the whole point of that is because he's protected from that point on. So if you're going to say that he's still vulnerable to a hit the rest of the slide, then the ball should be marked where his knee actually goes down. It's not fair. Like you can't be both ways. You have to go one way or the other. Either he's protected and can't be touched, or the ball should have been marked 2 yards forward where he actually got hit.
I completely agree with that. I mean, look, if you're not going to give him you're not going to give him that penalty, give him the yardage that he is getting when he's getting smacked on the ground. So, yeah, Adam, I like that. But, I think Justin, moving forward, would love to at least get, one roughing the passer penalty, hopefully in the 2024 season, wherever that may be. And real quickly, just one last thing. He was asked, have you done enough? Justin Fields was asked, have you done enough to ensure you'll be the quarterback here next season? And he said, I'm not sure. Decision is not in my hands, but he gave it his all. He said, no regrets. Shout out to the media for making his job a little harder. Well, all right. But he said, Chicago, I love y'all. Appreciate the fan support. In case this is my last rodeo, appreciate y'all for everything.
Ugh, that feels like a goodbye message.
Yeah.
We shall see.
Wow. If nothing else, it's a pretty good indication that Justin doesn't feel like he's 100% safe in coming back.
Oh, he's definitely – listen, they haven't told him and they're not going to tell him, and he's got to be on edge about what's going to happen. Same thing with all of them until they know. So,
And he did say, well, he was asked what would it mean to be back, and he did say it would mean a lot. And he does have a really good relationship with Ryan Poles, and if he is back, it means he got that confirmation from them that they really want to send a message. They obviously trust him, and he does feel like he's trending in the right direction, you guys, in terms of just growth as a player, and he's really just going to focus on getting healthy, spending time with family, and he also said, is it going to be tougher to focus or not focus on all the outside noise? He's like, not really. All this conversation about the number 1 pick was happening last year, and he just had to focus on himself and not worry about the outside noise. So it's going to be a fascinating couple of months, I think, before a decision, when we know a decision has been made. But we'll be here at CHGO Bears to cover it all every single step of the way, you guys. So it's been fun. And this, it's been fun doing this with you guys from every stadium. I just wish there were more Bears wins that I can come on to talk about.
You got to work on that, Nick.
Just 7 of them, which someone on this set predicted.
I got screwed. Whatever.
But we're not going to talk about who it was.
No, we're not going to talk about it. Lawrence did a good job picking
Lawrence picked 7 wins.
Great job this
Great
year.
job, Lawrence.
Lawrence did a great job this year,
job.
and no one else.
Nobody else. Definitely not the guy sitting next to me.
We all know the true genius on the show. It's been obvious. I mean, basically every show. I don't even think I've ever had a bad show or a bad moment.
We know you don't think that.
He'd come back. Nick, drive home safe. 10:15 tomorrow. Open locker room.
Be there.
Rise and shine.
We all silly like the mayor.